Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're tuning into AMTV, Alternative Media Television. Before we get started, click the link below to support our sponsor. Visit OutdoorLegacyGear.com. That is OutdoorLegacyGear.com. Get all of your shooting, firearm accessories, light, optics, bags, packs, and emergency preparedness gear at OutdoorLegacyGear.com. Family owned, a mom and pop, great people. Click the link below, support them, and support AMTV. The President of the United States, the King Obama, the great one, I don't want to offend him, I might have to get down on my knees or something here in a minute, is going to authorize up to 5 million illegals here in the United States of America, announcing it as soon as Thursday and then throwing a grand old party in Las Vegas, Nevada, maybe teaming up with some hookers and getting involved in some kind of gangbang or something while he's at it, this evil prick that makes up the President of the United States today. Anywho, the President will be authorizing illegally up to 5 million illegals here in the United States of America. And I want to take a top-down, big perspective look at this and what I think it means for the country. Well, firstly, I think it means the country's over. I think it means that America is finished, that we're done. It's officially the nail, that final nail in the coffin that, kind of executes America for good. It's kind of like getting the guillotine, America, our founding fathers, just being assassinated by the Obama regime. The Saul Alinsky philosophy, this ideology that will be an extension of not just Obama, but Hillary Clinton in 2016. I mean, hey, that's why they're authorizing up to 5 million illegals here in the United States of America, because it's a surefire way to pad the Democratic base. Who do you think those 5 million new illegals will be voting for in the 2016 upcoming election? You see, the President of the United States, excuse me, the King, will and is doing everything that he wants to do, as kings do. Again, this is unilateral action. He is bypassing our branches of government, both houses, which have a Republican majority now because the American people overwhelmingly are going against Obama. They don't want Obama. Even the Democrats that voted for this scumbag that will barely even and not even really admit that they voted for the guy in 2008 and also his re-election are going against him. I mean, what this guy is doing really is destroying America. And this is a part of a multi-pillar approach to destroy the United States, which the President needs to pat himself on the back for. He is doing a fantastic job, really the best job, and Hillary Clinton will continue that going forward in the future. But really, I see this as a three-pillar manifesto almost to destroy America, which the President is behind, representing the large, powerful corporate interests, the statist, mainstream, race-baiting media that likes to focus on stories like Ferguson, Missouri, to incite a race war in the United States, and then authorize up to 5 million illegals and throw a grand party in Las Vegas, Nevada. But the first pillar that I really saw was in 2008 while I was working for a major Wall Street firm, and I watched the U.S. government, along with these banks that really own the government and the politicians, rape and pillage America and the amounts of trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, actually sell the American people on the con job that they needed a bailout, even though the whole thing was orchestrated and engineered in the first place. And not only did they get incredibly wealthy on the upside, selling bullshit, phony mortgages, CDOs, CMOs, whatever synthetic derivative horse shit that they came up with at the time, also made money on the downside shorting those same stocks while liquidating the wealth of the rest of America, and then actually convincing you that you needed to give them bailouts. So they got trillions more on top of that just to pad their pockets, to create an even larger separation from the ultra elite, the very wealthy, and the little guy. You and me, the peasant. Again, don't offend don't offend the King Obama. Get on your knees right now, America. He might execute you or just give you the axe. That was pillar number one. Pillar number two is this immigration. This unilateral, illegal, anti-constitutional act to nationalize 5 million illegals here in the United States of America is only going to create more division. And the President of the United States knows all of this, and this will lead to civil war. This increases anger among both sides and will lead to even more division, which again is a part of the divide and conquer strategy of the Obama administration. But what will be the ultimate third pillar will be the tertiary financial collapse here in the United States of America. And on the next leg down, the President of the United States and the bankers will not know how to solve the crisis. Of course, they've engineered it, but it will be engineered to fail. There will be no subsequent bailouts. There will be no Ponziing or lubricating with a big jar of Vaseline the stock market up to new all-time highs. They won't be able to take interest rates down to zero or negative because they're actually already functioning on zero and negative interest rates today. And that will really spark riots in the United States of America. You know, what's kind of ironic is I actually think that the 5 million new illegals, some of which will actually fight alongside the patriots in the upcoming Civil War. It'd be kind of interesting to see that happen because, again, I want to emphasize this isn't an attack on Hispanic Americans. I mean, I could care less whether or not you're Hispanic American or you're a Martian. As long as you go through the proper channels of immigrating to the United States, I'm okay with it. But that's the point. The president isn't going through proper channels. He is unilaterally acting. And if he can do this, folks, you need to remind yourself that he can do anything. He can execute you. He can quell free speech. He can rape your wife. He can murder your children. Again, if our houses of Congress and the Senate aren't to be used, if they're to be totally and utterly ignored by a king, then there is no government. There is no Constitution. There is no America. And the question I asked in our last video predicting that the president, not that it was really a prediction, I think all of us knew this, that the president was going to declare this executive order is all a part, again, of Obama's strategy. Divide and conquer the American people. 3 pillars. The engineered financial collapse of 2008 to rape and steal trillions of dollars from the American people. Create fear to push the country to the New World Order paradigm, which will be a unification of this financial gangbanging. Pillar 2. Divide and conquer the people racially. Authorize up to 5 million through executive action like the president is soon about to do, illegal non-Americans in the United States to, again, create more division in the U.S., create that radical, what they will portray in the CNN statist opinion pieces, the radical response by the Republican Party that will only increase support for the one-party system. Again, there is no 2 parties here in America. It really just is King Obama, and then it will be Queen Hillary Clinton. There is no parties. Pillar 2, we've covered. Pillar 3 will be the ultimate financial collapse, of which there will be no bailout. It's engineered, again, to fail. The whole thing incredibly fragile. You know, the federal government placating the American people through the statist machine that makes up the mainstream media, large dying corporations, dinosaurs like CNN, in order to placate the masses, you know, tuning into things like The Voice, American Idol, or Kim Kardashian's big, fat, juicy ass. I mean, did you see it? Just round and supple. I mean, Americans were so entertained by that. He just gave them a hard-on. You know, even females got hard-ons. They were like, wow, that's a huge ass. But see, the American people really are dumb. Constantly living in the non-reality that makes up America today. Living in an artificial reality. Whether or not this is watching reality TV, the Kardashians doing the Hamptons, The Voice, or video games for that matter. It's not to say necessarily that, you know, playing video games is bad, or, you know, I know people, you know, always come back to me like, hey, video games are awesome. Well, I'm not saying that they aren't. But constantly living in a non-reality, something that isn't real, isn't healthy for the country. And it's been engineered that way for a reason. Again, this is the modern day form of slavery. Just because you can't see the chains doesn't mean that you are a slave. And again, if the president can do this, if he can act unilaterally through executive action on Thursday, and then celebrate the coup of America, he can do anything. He can execute you, he can murder your family, he can rape your wife. He can do absolutely anything he wants. He can quell free speech. Again, this is the reason they gave us guns, folks. This is the reason they gave us the Second Amendment. Our founding fathers rolling over in their graves. But we have our founding fathers to thank because they did give us at least a line of defense. Again, it's why we have the Second Amendment in this country. It's why we have guns. It's why we have great liberty states like Texas, which the rest of the country, because it's so jacked up, they've screwed everything up. In other states like California, everyone's moving to places like Texas and Arizona now because the rest of the country's so jacked up. Bankrupt. I mean, look at California specifically. People just getting the hell out of it because it's a dump. It's a wasteland. And it's insolvent, and bankrupt. Things like Social Security and Medicare, just an upside down Ponzi scheme, will never pay out. It won't be able to pay out any more monies to those people that think they're going to get it. Estimates I've read as soon as like 2020, 2025, kind of in that ballpark, the 2020, 2030 period. It's over. And I think that's the point. And this is the takeaway from the immigration executive order by King Obama. Again, I'm going to stop referring to him as president. He is only the king. He is only the great one. Thou most holy Barack Obama. Get on your knees. If you don't, he might behead you. Don't look him in the eye. Just like an old king, you got to, kind of keep your eyes down or whatever. He might saw your head off in front of the rest of the population. Again, if the president can do this, he can do anything, folks. And this is a blatant and very brazen affront. He's showing you his true colors. He's showing you his true power. Even if you were conned into voting for the President of the United States, Barack Hussein, insane in the membrane Obama, you have to recognize that this is a gross atrocity, a very heinous act, a catastrophic event being perpetrated by the President of the United States, an irreversible act, which again I believe to be Pillar 2. Pillar 1, the 2008 financial collapse. Pillar 2, authorizing up to 5 million illegals. And Pillar 3 will be the finale, the grand finale, which will make 2008 look like a church picnic. At that point, all will be lost. People's financial accounts, if you thought they were devastated in 2008, wait until hyperinflation takes off. But the president will be there to save you because, again, this is about unification into a new world order. We are at war with other countries that they say are propagandist nations, even though the United States is just as propagandist and just as much of a statist, control grid, police state as the rest of the world. But we are at war against the U.S. dollar, the petrodollar, this international chess game between Russia and China. All this being waged right now. This is what Ukraine is about. This is what all of this is about. It's what the artificial price manipulation of oil is about right now, around $80 a barrel. The Saudis pushing oil lower to basically hit the United States and American fracking machines and our oil production in the balls, which can't operate unless it's at a certain level here in the United States. This is war. It's a war against the dollar. It's also a war against the American people. And they are stripping us from our rights. They are taking away our freedom on a daily basis. The King Obama is now authorizing up to 5 million illegals. He's actually defending non-Americans more than he's defending the best interests of Americans in this country and what our actual houses of Congress and the Senate want. This is a giant FU to the American people, and I want you to remind yourself of this. Of course, all of this leading to war, and again, I think it quite ironic that many of these Hispanics, and again, this isn't a war against Hispanics to any degree. Again, I could care less if you're Hispanic or you're Martian, as long as you go through the proper channels through immigration. But what's ironic about this, a lot of the good Hispanics that I know will actually be fighting alongside the Patriot movement and those constitutionalists, those just regular Americans. I mean, you don't even have to typecast it. Just those that still believe in America against the traitors, against those committing treason. The acts that President of the United States, King Obama, are committing are acts of treason. They go directly against the Constitution and constitutional principles. And I always love how the leftist liberal assholes like to argue with me. Like, oh, it's a good thing. Times have changed. The Constitution's archaic. Well, you know what? Even if you believe that, you're a effing traitor. You are committing treason. Because the Constitution's laid out pretty clear, folks. And nowhere does it say, don't secure our borders and authorize up to 5 million non-Americans here in the United States of America. And again, let me emphasize, this isn't an attack on Hispanic Americans. This isn't an attack on anyone. In fact, I think Obama's racist for not allowing 5 million Swedes to come into the United States of America. I know a lot of Swedes that really want to come here for our land of opportunity and our welfare benefits and Social Security, etc. And I think it's an attack against them. I think it's very disrespectful and also racist that the President of the United States wouldn't authorize up to 5 million Swedish people. And the Swedes, I don't know if you've seen some of the ladies, guys, they're pretty hot, man. So I think it's an attack against, the Swedes. I think it's an attack against everyone. Most importantly, it's an attack here in the United States of America. It's all reaching a boiling point. It is all leading to war. And again, what's ironic about it is that many of these great Hispanics that I know personally will be fighting alongside the Patriot movement in the coming war here in the United States of America. I'm Christopher Green. Get this video out everywhere. Make it viral, hard-hitting it in your face, and click the link below to support our sponsor.